You must have meditated where there was no transmission, perhaps. Now, you try and meditate with transmission. In Sanskrit, this transmission is known as Pranahuti. Experience this Pranahuti or transmission during this heartfulness meditation and see it for yourself. Often people have confusion whether to start meditation or not, because often we try meditating on our own and we get discouraged because of rush of thoughts during meditation. The moment we close our eyes, this rush of thoughts prevents us from meditation. We see our inability. Thoughts are natural to us, just as our eyesight, our hearing. What is a mind without thoughts? But through meditation, we like to train our mind, use its ability of thinking, so that this thinking can be heightened to a creative level. Whenever thoughts do arise in mind, we just have to simply remind ourselves that I am meditating. Whatever thoughts be, if we pay attention to it, it will draw our own energy and thrive. We have to remain unmindful of these thoughts, whatever they be, as we learn how to meditate. Thoughts thus will not bother us. They will simply pass like clouds in the sky. My guide used to tell me, it really does not matter what goes through during the meditation. What is important is how I feel after the meditation. That's more important. You must have meditated where there was no transmission, perhaps. Now, you try and meditate with transmission. In Sanskrit, this transmission is known as Pranahuti. Experience this Pranahuti or transmission during this heartfulness meditation and see it for yourself. As you gently open your eyes, write down your observations. Where was your attention during meditation? How do you feel now? Any inspirations or any great ideas during meditation? Why we meditate is because we are looking to nurture a deep, satisfying connection with our heart. Our aim is to nurture this connection so that we can feel the meditative state for longer and longer periods. It is good to meditate, but we should not leave this meditation where we began and ended in that half hour. We may actively meditate every day, but we must remain meditatively active during daytime. Yogic transmission is something that really must be felt in order to be understood. We are already familiar with basic idea of transmission. In Sanskrit, transmission is known as Pranahuti. This word Pranahuti is a combination of two Sanskrit root words, Prana and Ahuti. Prana is the essence of the essence, life of life. The second root word is Ahuti, means sacrifice or the offering. To receive transmission is to receive the essence of the source itself. This offering is made to the thirsting hearts. We experience transmission when a trainer directs this flow towards our heart. The transmission does not originate with the trainer. It is a natural outpouring from the source itself, and the trainer is merely a part of this process. Just as the air is everywhere, sunlight is also everywhere, but when it is focused through a convex lens, like the lens of a magnifying glass, its effects become very intense. Mind of the trainer is like a convex lens because it focuses the essence of the original source upon the heart of the aspirant. The main effect of yogic transmission is to illuminate the consciousness, various levels of consciousness and the layers of them, expanding through them. This is one way of understanding spiritual growth. how consciousness expands at each level. We have three major categories, three major categories of bodies. The outer manifestation of the physical body. The source of it all is the soul that keeps it going. Something between the soul and the physical realm is the subtle body. Within this subtle body, there are four subtle bodies. In Sanskrit, they are known as Chit, Manas, Buddhi, and Ahankar. These four words, Manas meaning mind. The second, Ahankar, which is ego. Third, Chit, which is consciousness. Fourth, Buddhi means intellect. But it is the consciousness which works like a canvas. On this canvas of consciousness or Chit, there is a play of three bodies which goes on changing the painting on the canvas of consciousness. These three players are Manas, mind, intellect, and ego. Depending upon the evolution of these three, the fourth entity, consciousness, changes its very nature. Ego is like a great gravitational pull within. It keeps you bound to itself. But when ego is sublimated, it becomes universal. And to that extent, the consciousness also will change, it will expand. When I no longer think, but I evolve to a level where feelings predominate, absolutely. That is the evolution of the mind, which moves from thinking to feeling. Likewise, intellect, which no longer is restricted to its, mundane activity, but it transforms itself to intelligence, wisdom, intuition. And when all these three are at its pinnacle, at its highest, consciousness will also expand to that extent. So all these things finds their true expression because of the yogic transmission. Yogic transmission is something which penetrates all these subtler levels of Chit, Manas, Buddhi, and Ahankar, and does a magical thing in nourishing our very existence at a spiritual level. To me, this transmission is something like a cane or a wheelchair or the lift that we use in high-rise buildings. You can walk if you like, but wouldn't it be nice if you can take a lift? Yogic transmission is like that. When you cannot walk and you take help of a cane, it becomes easier and more comfortable to work with. When I close my eyes and try to meditate and try to go deeper within the consciousness or fly higher in a state of superconsciousness, it becomes easier on its own without transmission. Flying higher into a state of superconsciousness or going deeper into subconsciousness, difficult. So transmission works like a magic. A simple act of receiving this transmission with open heart, that yes, let me experience this transmission, what it is all about. If you like to experience this very transmission, just simply download this app, Let's Meditate, to experience this transmission in the privacy of your own house, privacy of your own bedroom. Download this particular app called Let's Meditate and connect to a trainer. These trainers will be ever ready to help you experience this yogic transmission at any time, at any place. These trainers are there worldwide. We have thousands, more than 10,000 trainers throughout the world. And we have so many hot spots where we can go to and meditate with such trainers. It is free of cost. These sessions are very practical in nature. The trainer will say, okay, let's meditate. The person would close his eyes, you close your eyes, and then you feel, that's all. So having experienced this meditation at least once, I would seriously recommend you to undergo many such sessions, minimum 3 to start with. And after such sessions, you decide whether to continue with it or not. To have the full impact of it, actually, one needs to practice for longer than that, in such a way that yes, it becomes our lifestyle one day. During these introductory sessions, 3-4 introductory sessions, a lot of work which is done upon the individual who is seeking such a training. This work is done through this transmission. In fact, the very highest spiritual state is infused on day 1, but it comes in a seed form. It is nourished daily by our individual practice of meditation and by repeated exposure to yogic transmission. It is always helpful to have follow-up sessions, for which you can either use the app or meet our trainers in person at various retreat centers and local hotspot locations worldwide. After each meditation, we ought to remain still and silent for some time. We ought to allow such a state to settle, take hold of us before we carry on into the worldly affairs. Explore how you feel now and note down your observations in journal. Journal is a helpful tool to help us retain, observe, identify the effects of meditation. When one feels that the two are effectively balanced, then it is all right to get up. What are these two? My inner and outer awareness. When you feel that, okay, now I can handle the external affairs without disturbing my inner, then it is good. That's the moment you get up. During these daily affairs, daily activities, when you feel that my inner awareness and external awareness is not in sync, don't let it go too far. Moment you realize, instantly reconnect. Often when we become careless, day passes even without recollecting the morning balanced state. That too is okay. Another better day will come, but recognize that you missed out. This awareness is very important. That yes, I can have many beautiful inner states, but I got to remain in osmosis with it. I got to have this permanent inner awareness in such a way that I can go on meditating even with my open eyes and yet be able to do so many worldly things. More we take interest in it, I think more we can see the expansion of consciousness. And this is made possible only with the help of transmission. So let's take the advantage of this transmission, like sunlight, like air. It is freely available to us.
Curious about the difference between spirituality and religion? Click on the video to explore how they shape our lives differently.